Some of you could really work well with other target markets. Some of you said you were aiming for the schools in particular, or the students, where you could have aimed for the school board. So I think one in particular was TikTok. You're talking about aiming for the teachers and the schools. Go straight for the school board. If you can talk to the teachers and get them to encourage it to the school board, that's great. But your overall goal is the school board. Next was regulations. A few of you missed, during your research, some major regulations, and they would have caused you problems down the line. So what we want to make sure is, we want to make sure that you're doing as much research on the legal side as possible. Lots of you said you'd contacted a legal advisor. That is great, especially for an entrepreneurial legal advisor. They can just say, okay, step back, this is going to cause us problems, how are we going to work this in now so we don't get in trouble later? We can make sure all our regulations are in check, we can make sure all our insurance, everything like that's in check, no problem. And lastly was a big one that all the judges said, and it was nothing that you guys missed. It was something that you would have only seen from an outside perspective. There was three or four groups that had a rough target market of the same people. If you guys went away and talked, you would be the best people to help each other out. Yeah? This idea of synergy, groups working together to help each other. So what you could do is, what we were saying is we could see it in a few years being this one big thing with lots of different sections, you guys working together and handing off clients to each other because you're the next step up from each other. But overall, again, choosing the winners of today's competition was one of the hardest ones as judges that we've done. And again, we bounced around so much because you did all such a great job. So congratulations to you guys.
So especially on the first day of the Raptors playoffs, and very nice first warm day. Seriously, very well done. You made our task this afternoon extremely difficult and challenging. And for us, that's great news, because that meant we have a very strong group of high school students here. Really, when we look at it, your future resources for us and our businesses respectively, but also we look at our communities and we believe that this is a group that will settle for nothing less than extreme success. So we're looking forward to see where you guys go with this. On that note, I wanted to leave, on behalf of our judging panel, with you guys with a good message to take away. We've seen several familiar faces come back from the last round competition in the fall. So welcome back and congratulations. So what that means is, many of you guys, first time here with Y2. So when you add last time's group, this time's group together, we've doubled, more than doubled, the number of youth who are looking into this entrepreneurial space and doing something for the betterment of this space in the future, right? What we have to remember, though, is that this is like homework, unfortunately. Fortunately, it's a lot more fun than homework. This has to be a routine. We encourage you to come back next time, bring other people around you who are interested, bring them along, grow this community. One is that continuous practice. That's how we're going to all get better, building these kind of platforms, right? And in the clients I work with, if you look at them, it's very easy to see which entrepreneurial organizations always outperform their competitors. And they're the ones that welcome more competition every day they're in business. And there's two reasons why. Number one, with more competition around them, they perform better. They strive harder to continuously innovate what they offer product or service-wise. And number two, goes back to Josh's point about synergies. By having more competitors, often businesses will find their best resources come from those around them. So the bigger of a pool you have, the more access you have to further your business. So again, let's grow this community together. Let's grow your future business partners.
I just want to add to what Keith said. I want to congratulate each and every one of you for having the courage, honestly, to participate in this event. It is hard to get outside of our comfort zone and approach people and start talking to them and start working in teams. It's actually very hard to do. And the poise and the confidence and how well you all spoke, it's on par, if not better, with what we see at VentureLab with clients that walk in our door, so with adults. So I can't wait to turn the page 4 years from now and see where you've evolved. But what you've done today and through this last week is going to serve you well throughout your life. So like Keith said, I encourage you to come back, participate. There was the Summer Company program and the Markham Business Plan competition. Grab hold of those opportunities. You will learn something every single time you go through it. So let's get down to the top 2 teams. So the first team, the prize is a dinner or a lunch with the CTO from Pathway Communications. We think it's going to be a great fit for this particular team, who did a fantastic job identifying a market opportunity, leveraging key industry trends and shifts in the media markets, and also to really harness the power of community. So the first team we want to present this prize to is Nearby. Oh, we all have to come back this way.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, our next award recognition goes, before I get into that, I just want to say one thing. The level of collaboration, I was really intrigued to see that there were teams made up of students from different schools. I thought that was fantastic, that you were all, you practically made a friend for life. You've made a partner, a potential business partner. I thought that was fantastic. Nothing beats collaboration. I'm a client of VentureLab, and one of the beautiful things that happens is we've got all these mentors, we've got these advisors, we've got all these different industry partners who are coming in, and things are always on the go. Things are always happening. You're always picking up new ideas from other people and bringing those ideas into what you're doing. So I encourage you to keep doing that. You've been here working over the past couple of days, couple of weeks. Get to know each other, because ideas come from people. Okay. So I have the honor of presenting the second, or well, not second, but the two companies that will be awarded today, and it's Candy Cutlery. Well done, guys. Congrats.
Thank you, judges. I hope that everyone, when we say there's going to be two, there are going to be two. It certainly does not take away from the quality of the thinking, the evolution, the insights that the other 10 teams had. So I would hope that one thing you've taken from a lot of the commentary is this is not the end. I hope this is not the end. I hope that you take a lot of the experience that you've gone through in the past week and you incorporate, you think about, you build on it. Even if you're one of the top 2 teams, Every team has things to improve on, and every team really did fantastic. So please give yourselves a hand for the amount of amazing. So my suggestion on that is talk to your coaches. Before you leave, regroup with your coaches. Your coaches, I said this last Saturday, amazing entrepreneurs and people in their own right. Talk to them. They have helped you when they've seen and they've heard what you saw and heard today, but they're going to have a perspective that maybe you haven't thought about. And I hope that conversation will put into perspective how far you each have come. Do you remember those the opening mic pitches? Actually, do you remember before the opening mic pitches? How many people had ideas when they walked in here? Okay, that's not 37. That's not 12. But you guys came in the door last Saturday. You guys came up with some really interesting ideas. You guys built on those ideas, and we had this. How far have you come in 1 week? Now imagine what's going to happen if you have more time.
Yeah.
So just hold that thought. What are we going to do? Let's go. Nail biting. Right. Okay. So it takes a village to raise an entrepreneur. And technology is beautiful. It's something that just doesn't work for you. So I'm going to give you a perspective of what is in York Region, and it bleeds into Toronto. Organizations that support entrepreneurs, there are a few. These people want to help entrepreneurs of all ages. First, looks at innovators in technology, high school and younger. Let's talk a little bit about the support that the ACCE gives to entrepreneurs. Venture Lab, you've met Tiffany from the Markham Small Business Center. Kitty was here earlier. If you're a performer, the York Region Arts Council looks to help people who are innovating in arts. Creativity through arts helps teens innovate on art and those are different shows for you guys. And I don't think we're done yet. So when we talk about keep going, don't stop, keep going, learn. There are a lot of organizations here that want to see you succeed. Don't quit. One organization I can speak to specifically is this one. I lead Startup York Region. It's a community of startup and established entrepreneurs. We want to help. If you are interested, let me know. You are welcome to our events. The whole idea is to help another generation of any age of entrepreneur. The ones who are established to the ones who are going to be established. And many of the entrepreneur volunteers today are part of that community. So all these people want to help. Don't quit. So far, so good? So, I'm going to turn a little bit to thank you. The first thank you, and unfortunately Chris Stepney's not here because he's been away for so long doing stuff that his kids are really angry with him. So he had to stay home, and my kids will appreciate that is very true of a dad. So Chris and Seneca Helix, very generous. A word about them. Helix is Seneca's on-campus incubator. And it's not just, they don't help just Seneca students. They're open to anyone in the community. They offer workshops, education, mentoring. A lot of the things that we've talked about here, Helix can support. And they've been a very, very generous sponsor and supporter of all the Y2, and for that matter, Startup York. They hosted an event joint between Startup York and the Markham Library a little while ago. So Seneca is such a generous anchor in this community. They really are a pillar for the ecosystem. So I want to thank Seneca for hosting us. Of our sponsors, I mean, we have many. As a perspective, in October we had 3 sponsors. A little different this time. This to me screams that these organizations believe in you and want to help create this forum where motivated, bright, excited meet, experience, and I'm not saying who is who. So these organizations, I want to thank every one of them. And it wasn't. I think the support goes beyond a financial transaction. It was the access to knowledge, resources. I mean, MMP, for example, is very generous in offering up marketing insights and connections. So it's not just a, hey, here's a check. They really got involved. And it was a partnership. And then that's really what this is a page of our partners. So thank you. with the village theme. Here are the 3 facilitators of our workshops. They're not here, so I'm going to move on. But Josh is, so thank you to our speakers. Now, I'm going to come back to DECA in a second. Hal, who's right here, he's been video recording the presentation, so in time when we get a chance to upload it to our YouTube channel, you can watch the presentation. Javin made the suggestion earlier, watch yourself, watch yourself, watch yourself. Well, what Hal's done today is given you the opportunity to watch yourself and improve, and we have someone kind of going, no. No, and then you're like, oh, don't do that. So, you know, it'll be up on YouTube soon enough, as fast as Bell 5 will allow me. Or any of us. Mike is in the back. He's been taking photos along with Eason, who just, you know, thank you for recording these memories for us. Hal, thank you for recording this. So thank you to you guys. A word about DECA. DECA, for those of you who don't know, it's a US-based organization. In Ontario alone, there are 12,000 members. They are focused on helping high school kids learn about business, and they are also a supporter of Y2. So some of you I know heard about Y2 through DECA. They are holding an event in June, which will be kind of a day's worth of workshops, and it'll be supported by Y2. And possibly in October, Y2 will happen supported by DECA. So we're friends now. But they're a remarkable organization, just the dedication, and I met with their director of programming yesterday. He's a volunteer, and his passion comes from having been part of DECA. He now is helping to run the programming. They are so focused on helping students learn more about business. So if there's a DECA, if you're interested in this stuff, if you want to go, you know, there's typically a DECA chapter in your school. If not, maybe start one. So DECA Ontario, you know, great partner, and you know, quite frankly, we're kind of going in the same direction, but we're very complementary, which is kind of cool. The food, which is coming next. So Roma were the guys. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, when this whole thing started, I asked some people that I'll introduce to you in a minute, and I asked them, what's the most important thing? If we were to create a conference where your friends and family were jealous that you were part of it, you were so proud to be involved, what would you want? And the first answer was food. So these guys helped make it happen. Roma in downtown Markham in the Cineplex VIP, they provided lunches, and Smash on Highway 7 provided the last dinner with the Southern Fried Chicken and the Lobster Mac and some goodies that are coming today. And that'll be next, so I'm gonna hurry up. So thank you to the food guys. And then for the less, the more budget-conscious breakfast was provided. So I want to thank the coaches and the mentors. There's so many. You guys were amazing. Each of these people volunteered their time over 2 Saturdays because they believe in you. These guys who have volunteered to be coaches, but because of how we sorted out, we focus on 12. They said, hey, thanks, we got part of my weekend back. But they initially started off wanting to volunteer. So I certainly want to call them out for being generous with their time. The intention was absolutely there. So, you know, this is fantastic. So, it's kind of like the end of a movie. That is the roster of volunteers that made this possible. So, thank you to all of the volunteers. That's very cool. So I would tell it. So back a little while ago, last year, had a meeting with. So first, I want to acknowledge Chris. Can't be here, kids. Chris was instrumental. He hasn't played as much of a frontline role because he's allowed the remaining 6 of us to work with this. So I want to thank Chris for being a co-founder of Y2. Paul Shu designed if you like the little submarine, the logo, Paul was instrumental in designing that. He couldn't be here today, but I want to thank Paul for all his help. Now, for 4 of you guys. One of you, just a little bit of a thank you. So bamboo typically means growth. So I want to thank you guys for all your help. It's been huge. Thank you. So Susie, Muskan, and Diane are graduating from high school this year. It's been such a pleasure working with you. And Sam is in her first year at Magnus. Come on. I'm not walking back up there. It's all very awkward. So, yeah, you guys have been fantastic to work with. I've been very... So, token. Sam, yours is back up there. So.
I didn't know.
Yeah, sorry. I bad planning.
Oh my god.
So,
okay, before he goes on, can you just say, like, this, none of this would have been possible without Lucas at all, so can you all thank him?
So, just because it was interesting, when we first started chatting, we were sitting outside the front of Seneca because there wasn't no running water inside. So we did our first meeting sitting outside, and the amount of process, just the amount of development and insights that you guys have shared, I've learned a ton from you. It really has reinforced for me that age is not a determinant of what one offers. Thank you. We're going to get ready with your picture together. So.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, but here.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay, so now what? I showed that slide earlier of ecosystem, but there are a lot of things that are coming up that you guys, if you like what you've been through and you want to build on it, even you were asking about, so if you take the idea and want to evolve it, well, there are a bunch of things that are coming. So Startup Weekend Toronto, for those of you who have never been to a Startup Weekend, it's a very intense 3-day, 54-hour session where you go from, much like what we did last Saturday, actually, you mush last Saturday today into 3 days straight. That's kind of a Startup Weekend. So Toronto's happening the 22nd to the 24th, and the URLs, you can send these, the URLs now are going to be in your inboxes. So don't worry about writing this all down. Kira's emailing to you. So the Startup Weekend, there's something coming, the Mississauga Youth Awards. There's a TEDx Youth. If anyone's interested in this event, I've been chatting with the Startup Weekend Toronto Youth Edition, so this is targeted not at university, post-secondary and above, it's targeted at high school. They will give participants in Y2 the discounted price. So just enter that as a promo code. So they support us, we support them. Ecosystem. So that's the 29th. You heard a lot about the summer company. You've met two people who have articulated what it is, what the next steps are, why you would want to do it. You've got the benefit of mentors around you. You've got the benefit of feedback from the judges. You've got this ecosystem, and you've got time to chat and bounce ideas because we're going to have dinner next. If you're thinking, remember earlier this morning I asked who's interested in summer program, but 1/3 of the room raised your hands. Don't stop, because that might be, you might take this idea, you might be able to take Scholar's Wallet and do something around getting some funding. And it goes for all of you. So just think about that. Anyone interested in technology, there's a Canadian Undergraduate Tech Conference that's coming up, I think at Mars. So May 7th, there's some information that Tiffany had talked about, the Markham Business Plan Contest. To check that out. And as I mentioned, DECA is looking at an event in June, and when I find out details, I'll share that with you guys. There's a lot happening. Keith had mentioned there's another one. There are several teams that had social innovation or social enterprise ideas. There is a social innovation challenge that's coming in May, I believe.
Yeah, May 6th, 7th?
May 6th, 7th. And the idea there is that it's not limited to an age. If those of you with a social innovation idea, such as the app that helps, the website that helps new Canadians, that might be a good place to meet some people. They're all going for the same thing. You don't, like I said earlier, it's not about age. You're going to meet some people, may be able to bounce additional ideas off. So you may want to consider the social innovation challenge. So there's a lot going on. Take some time after today, soak in what you've learned, debrief, learn, reflect with your coaches. But if you want to keep it going, there's stuff coming up in the next month. So don't stop. And with that, one thing, we're going to start posting photos, by the way. So rather than this being a real cheap social media clip, if you like our Facebook page, which is also in the email that was just sent, as photos are posted, you will see them. So if you're interested in that, go and like our page. And last thoughts from me. So it was overwhelming to see 37 pitches, and I kind of touched on this earlier, to go from the handful of people who had ideas to 37 people. Nobody was sitting. Remember, like, okay, who has a pitch? And the chairs were empty except for like Susie. And the whole, you guys were, that was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. That was inspiring. And the energy in the room is why I do this. Because I know you guys and feel that you guys are getting something out of it. A lot of high school students don't have this opportunity. You guys were on fire. That's why I do this kind of stuff. Because it's amazing to see that. On the other hand, 35 volunteers. You guys have, we make cracks about older people, whatever, but the fact that when you, well, we did it because, Jad was making jokes about it earlier. The fact that 35 people offered to spend a day or two on a weekend away from family to have to be here with you guys, that's huge. I'm very proud to be associated with those 35 people. Many of them are here. I mean, just how giving is that? And there was a moment of, we talk about bravery, courage, and Karen spoke to that. Coming up here and doing an open mic pitch, coming up here and standing in front of a bunch of strangers to share an idea. That's brave. To go up to someone you don't know who is a coach or mentor and ask for help, that's brave, and you guys did it. You can't grow without taking chances, and you guys took chances, and that was huge. Because a lot of these mentors and coaches and volunteers may not be people you would have typically met, looked, sought after, asked questions, but you did. You had this courage, strength, and the presence. A lot of the presentations, when I was upstairs and talking with others, your presentations as a whole were so professional. Your presence, so professional, and the way you approached individual volunteers was just amazing. So that was energetic for me. I'm almost done. Somebody said to me last Saturday, my mom made me come here. Why'd you come here? My mom made me come here. And it was like, right here, like, oh yeah. But the one quote that somebody had was, I didn't think I was going to be this immersed. That was his word, was immersed. You know who you are. I haven't noticed that you get one. But it was amazing to feel people immersed. That was so cool. The last thing I'll throw, it's where I began with. It's not failure. There are 10 teams who weren't up here, 10 teams who will not be, not in the immediate future anyway, having, dinner with John or actually on us.
Unless you invite them out, then they'll happily if you're paying.
And you may be able to finagle them to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is just a moment. There's so many more moments to come. I talked about the ecosystem. I talked about the people in the room. Don't quit. Whether you take the skills, whether you take your business from today and evolve it, or you take the skills that you've learned, and maybe the business isn't where you're destined, but the skills you've picked up, go with it, build on them, take chances. You have a skill set that a lot of your peers do not have. You have a skill set a lot of adults don't have. Like the guys, and I mean, these guys are nodding up here, and I've seen it myself. The words you guys have used, the concepts you've understood, a lot of grown-up small business owners, entrepreneurs don't understand this stuff. So don't quit. Keep going. Don't be discouraged by this, because it's another step before your next big success. So remember that. So in closing, think of how far you've come in a week, and imagine if you had 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. What are you going to do next? Thank you.